Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out Rules Horror. Story 1. The Newly Orphaned Child. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. You wake up in an unfamiliar room. The time is 10:17 a.m. As soon as you went downstairs, you went to the shower room, showered, got dressed for the day in a red uniform with a beige skirt, pretty comfy. And then went to the library. A short boy tapped your shoulder, led you to the second shelf and said, "It's from Zalai." He walked away, so you opened the book and began to read it. "Hi. I'm Zalai. I'm sorry for disturbing you. This is very important. 1. I'm sure you're in uniform, stay in that and only change out of it when the uniform is dirty. Unless you like to be beaten or not fed. 2. These rules will go in order. Next would be showers. From 2A to 2D will be the showering rules. 2 is just some info. 2A, other orphans will be in the same shower room as you. Do not mind this, as I know, we are a large building, but it would be too much money, housing you all and getting a shower to yourself. It makes the entities jealous anyway. 2B, you should shower at these times of day/evening, before breakfast/dinner, in spare time, and when told to. 2C, shower no longer than 20 minutes. If you do, then there will be no human body of yours to shower with, just bones. Again, it's expensive and the entities get jealous. 2D, if you don't need to shower, then don't. It's better to wait, after all. I did say it was expensive. 2E, just so you know, the entities are some orphans who complained. Interact with them if you must, but never during the time they died. I'll explain that on page 3, for now you will not communicate with them unless necessary. 3. Breakfast isn't usually the breakfast meals for some odd reason. Blessing if it's not, you'll be starving in the mornings. 4. After breakfast you better damn dispose of plates and cups, or else a caretaker, Tanya, will not be happy and will tell the other ones so. If you don't want to be their next victim, dispose of your litter and dishes. 5 to 10 a.m. is the start of activities, here's a list of them and how to survive them all. 5A, berry picking is a fun one, and the staff even give you cake. Be wary, some berries can eat you alive, then you'll be the cake. Also, take the cake but do not eat it. Unless you like eating human corpses. If a berry is black and / or goopy, you cannot take it. Only if it's red you can. 5B, ice skating only happens if it's winter. Don't worry, it can't break, but still be careful, if you bump into someone, it all falls down and restores. There will be no chance to get up. 5C, this is for any indoor activity, storytelling, cleaning, etc. Listen to the children, anyone but Ashley. She tends to lie to the newer orphans the most. And for God's sake, don't beg for food or milk. If you keep trying, you won't have a mouth to eat food/drink milk with. Just ask one time for food, never milk unless you are seated at meals. 5D, in the playground, village, or nature walk, don't dare stray off in the walks, or jump into the water. You may be able to swim in it, but there's bacteria that can cause your lungs to be eaten inside of you. The entities will find you if you stray off. 5D1, in the playground, if there is a small, black-haired child on the swings, Erica is using it, she is Ashley's sister and unlike her, merciful. Also, if you try to escape during this time, the ground will spike into you, so don't escape during this time. 6. Shower time again. Rules 2A-2E still apply. Keep them in mind, and change after each shower too. One of the educators, Yelena, doesn't want you to smell bad and most likely will stab you with a ruler. 7. It should be dinner, if well behaved, you might get cake. This will be edible, but don't eat your dinner. This is due tonight. Also, if you were in the library that day, grab a book. I recommend Knights or Orphanage. Might help you discover some things. 8. Next page please. After reading, there was an announcement. Oh my! It seems that sadly, that we cannot spend longer in our library, and what's that smell? Oh, you silly orphans! Head to the shower rooms and go to the kitchen. Yelena, signing off. You walked down to the shower rooms, meeting someone named Rossi. She seemed very nice, childish but serious. Just go and shower. Rossi grabbed you a new uniform. Same as your last one. The both of you went into the kitchen, got in line and talked at your table. This isn't what it seems, Y/N. I hope you can survive. Hey? There was another announcement. I hope you all had a wonderful dinner. Everyone, please head to your dorms, any locked ones we will unlock for you. Rosaria, signing off. Story 2. Rules for the front desk. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. Hello, and welcome to the start of your employment at the Ravenhill Hotel. You have been selected for our front desk position, and you will be working the night shift. Attached to this letter is a list of rules you must review before your first shift. Failure to follow these rules will lead to termination, or more severe consequences. Arrive in the parking lot for your shift no later than 9:15 p.m. Once in the parking lot, do not leave your car until the outside lights flash 3 times. Once that is done you may enter the building and the mid-shift will leave once you have clocked in. 1A If after 15 minutes the lights do not flash, or they flash any more or any less than 3 times, immediately leave and go straight home for the day. No questions will be asked, we will understand. 2 Once you have clocked in for your shift, you must count the spare room keys. If a spare key is missing, you must go down to the basement storage before 9:45 p.m. and collect the key that may be missing. Upper management will be displeased if anything is out of order. 3 At this point you are free to check in any guests or otherwise do as you wish within the vicinity of the front desk until 12 a.m. Once it is 12 a.m., you must make the rounds through all 3 floors. Bring the flashlight and salt container at the front desk with you. They may only be used during your rounds. 3A If you come across any open doors during your rounds, knock on the door frame 3 times. If you hear nothing, walk into the room and turn off any lights that may be on, then leave, closing the door behind you. Alternatively, if you do receive an answer of some sort, run as fast as you can back to the front desk and sprinkle the provided salt at the beginning of the first floor hallway. Something will follow you back, but will not be able to pass that salt line. 3B If at any point you see any of the previously missing spare keys during your rounds, collect and take them to storage in the basement once you have walked through all the floors. 3C The 3rd floor tends to be the most active at night, especially around 12:30 to 12:45 a.m. During this time, the power may go out on this floor. If this does happen, turn on the provided flashlight and point it at the floor about 1 foot in front of you and stand still. Listen to your surroundings. If you hear any footsteps, turn off the flashlight immediately and shut your eyes and stand completely still. Something will pass by you. Do not react to anything you may feel or hear. Once the footsteps are gone, you will need to go back to the front desk by either the elevator or stairs, which are on opposite sides of the 3rd floor. You will need to keep your flashlight 1 foot in front of you, still pointed at the ground. If at any point you see a pair of feet shown in the light, immediately turn around. Whatever being is standing there will not take kindly to you coming near it. Once you have done your rounds and returned any keys, you may return to the front desk and will not have to patrol the floors again during the night. 4 You may receive calls at the front desk during your shift, though they should be limited. If the phone rings, always let it ring 3 times before picking up. If you pick up the phone and it is a guest or someone wishing to book a room, proceed as normal. 4A If at any point you answer the phone and you hear a man whisper "I see you," respond with the words "You cannot see me, for I am not here." If the man hangs up, you are safe and may proceed as normal. 4B On the off chance he does not hang up, you may hear heavy breathing and the line will go dead. You will then hear running on the stairs. At this point, you must hide in one of two spots, the coat closet in the staff room, or in a bathroom stall. If you do not make it in time, then it is too late. If you do manage to hide before he reaches the front desk, wait exactly 5 minutes before leaving your hiding spot. Ignore anything you may hear before then. 3 am to 5 am will be the point in your shift with the most disturbances. It is at this point you might start seeing and hearing things. For the most part, this will be nothing you have to pay attention to. There are only two things you must look out for. See Rules 5A and 5B for this information. 5A After 3 am, the smiling woman likes to roam. If at any point you look down the first floor hallway and see her peering around the corner, do not take your eyes off her and do not show any emotion. If you break those rules, she will take it as an invitation to come to the front desk. You are beyond help at that point. If you hear the basement door open and see her on the stairs, follow the same rules as if she were in the hallway. She will eventually leave. Once she does, you are safe, but please be advised she may return later at any time before 5 am. 5B If you at any point need to use the restroom at 3 am or after, place your ear on the door and listen for any noise. If you hear nothing, it is safe to go in. If you hear talking or crying, wait 5 minutes and try again. Once you are in the restroom, proceed to the first stall. The other stalls are occupied. If you hear crying in the stalls next to you, ignore it but finish your business as fast as possible. If you hear one of the stall doors open and the sink turn on, do not leave your stall until the water is turned off. 5C If the smiling woman does not see you at the front desk, she may wander into the bathroom to look for you. If you are in the stall when that happens, lift your feet so they cannot be seen and be silent. If you are at the sink washing up, she will peek in first to see if you are there. At that point, do what you would if you were at the front desk. 6 If you hear the elevators open up and you see no one is inside, leave the building immediately and get in your car and drive home. You must lock your doors and hide under your covers until 8 am. Something in the hotel has taken a liking to you and will attempt to follow you home. 7 At 5:30 am your shift will end. You have 15 minutes to flash the outdoor lights 3 times so that the morning shift may enter the building. If you do not flash the lights in time, you will not be able to leave the building. I am sorry. Remember those rules well, and you will do just fine. We shall see you for your first shift on October the 13th. Thank you. Tracy S. Wallace, General Manager, Ravenhill Hotel. Story 3. I lost my shadow and here are the rules to follow if you lose yours. A place to share scary stories which contain a set of rules to follow. It was an incredibly unremarkable day, or so I thought. Everything was going normally. I was wrapping up my day shift at the CAF, and was just about to exit the door. However, I felt something off. It was a feeling I can't describe. I looked behind me for a second, and then I knew what had happened. My shadow was gone. I rubbed my eyes to make sure I wasn't going insane, but it was still gone. I asked my coworker, Nicole, to come over here for a second. I asked her if she could see my shadow. She was acting normal until she looked down at my feet. That's when I learned of the first rule. Rule 1, don't let anyone see that your shadow is missing. She stared at my feet for 10 seconds before I asked her, Nicole? Is everything all right? She slowly turned her head up at me with a cold, dead, and eerie expression. Her eyes had grayed out and her mouth was open. I was terrified. I ran out of the CAF as if my life depended on it, and that's when I broke the second rule. Rule 2, don't leave the room you're in until you find your shadow. It's a lot easier to catch it this way, since it can't move rooms if you follow this rule. I ran home, as my home was less than a mile away from the CAF. Once I was there I was out of breath, but I fumbled in and slammed the door behind me. What the hell just happened? I asked myself out loud. I wasn't expecting to hear a reply. I truly wonder, what did just happen? It was in a dark raspy voice that almost didn't even seem human. I shouted out, "Who the hell are you?" and unknowingly broke the third rule. Rule 3, if your shadow tries to talk to you, don't respond to it, if you do, it can harm you. Had. I heard the voice chuckle and my back door squeaking open. My first instinct was to get a weapon to defend myself from whatever was antagonizing me, so I ran to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. I then saw Nicole with the same dead expression as before. I also noticed that her shadow wasn't hers. I looked down at my feet again. My shadow was still gone. I looked back at Nicole and so was the shadow that she had brought in. Nicole started to walk towards me. I tried to step back but I was pressed up against the stove in my kitchen. I looked to my right when I saw my shadow standing before me. I screamed and my first instinct was to slash at it with the knife I grabbed. I slashed at it and felt a sharp pain across my stomach. Rule 4, don't try to hurt your shadow, it will reflect the damage onto you. Luckily, the gash wasn't too deep. Ha ha ha. My own shadow scoffed at me. I looked to my left and saw Nicole was getting dangerously close to me. I knew that whatever had taken control of my shadow had taken control of her, too. I charged at her and pushed her down to the ground. I didn't want to wound her with the knife. I planned on making sure she got out of this safely. I ran to my front door and swung it open as I charged outside into the hot sunlight. I thought to myself that maybe it was weak to sunlight. I don't know what my logic was at the time, but I turned out to be right. Rule 5, your shadow hates bright places, it will get weaker in them, but will become stronger in darker ones. The shadow followed me outside, and I had no idea what to do next. I frantically looked from side to side, trying to think of anything that could get me out of this. Salt, maybe? I read stories online saying that demons hated salt. If my shadow was being controlled by a demon, maybe I could try that. I didn't have many other ideas and I was desperate. My shadow had ran at me and tried to slash me, but the cuts were barely deeper than paper cuts. Damn the bright sun! I heard it hiss. I ran back into my house and made sure to turn on all the lights to try and save myself if it got to me. Nicole had stood back up, and I tried to run past her, but she grappled onto my shirt. Damn it! I shouted. I managed to free myself from her grasp and got to the kitchen where I kept my table salt. I grabbed my jar of it and turned around to see Nicole charging straight at me. She tackled me and pinned me down as my shadow walked up to me. Checkmate! I heard it mutter in a snarky tone as it got closer to me. Damn it! I shouted even louder than before as I struggled to get Nicole off me. I managed to grab the jar of salt off the ground and threw it straight at my shadow. The jar hit the glass floor and shattered as salt spilled all over my shadow's legs. It screeched in pain and started to melt away. Rule 6, always use salt to return your shadow to you. Nicole had stopped pinning me to the ground, she had passed out. I stood up and looked back on the ground, my shadow had returned to me. I sat back down on the floor and laid down, I was exhausted. After a few minutes, Nicole regained consciousness. What the hell? Where the hell am I? Nicole asked, understandably confused. I told her the whole story, not expecting her to believe me, but she did. A couple months went by after this, and on another incredibly unremarkable day, as I was wrapping up my shift, I felt something off. I looked down at my feet, my shadow was there. I looked over to Nicole's. Hers wasn't. I felt a sharp pain in my head as I became overwhelmed with drowsiness. My vision blurred and grayed as I went unconscious. She had broken Rule 1. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.